Hello, my name's Andrew with DesignACE, and today we're going to talk about how you can get the maximum benefit out of your stakeholder relationships. So, first off, what is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is anyone that can have both a positive or negative impact on your project, or that your project could have a positive or negative impact on. So, this is a very broad description and can encompass a lot of different groups of people. That's why we go through an exercise called stakeholder mapping, where you can make sense of all these different relationships, this nebulous web of people that are both impacted and impactful to your projects. And we can start to plan how you're going to communicate, how you're going to engage, and how you're going to receive insights and data from these different stakeholders. So it's really great, very simple, and super impactful if you are a person that is building a product, if you are a person that leads a team, leads an organization, if you are in any type of communication or crisis planning. We're going to go through how stakeholder mapping and understanding your stakeholders can benefit you and your job. My name's Andrew, like I said, and this is DesignACE. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. We're a new channel, and every week we go through different workshops and activities that professionals can use to increase team productivity. Today, that activity is stakeholder mapping. In our next video, we're going to do a demo. We're going to go through step-by-step how you run a stakeholder mapping facilitation session, either for yourself or for your team. So if you want, you can jump on over to that. And in this video, we're going to talk about the importance of understanding your stakeholders, how you can define these stakeholders, and where and when you want to use an activity like this, depending on what kind of team and what kind of role you're in. So just to start off, what is a stakeholder? A stakeholder, as I said, is somebody that can impact or be impacted by your project. Very broad. What we like to do is then split that into two categories. Category number one is internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders are an example of executives, other teams at your company, people on your team. Also, customers of yours could be considered both an internal and an external stakeholder, which is a great segue to what external stakeholders are. An external stakeholder is a customer you haven't sold to yet, trying to get that money and bring them into your business. Another example would be the government, banks, regulators, advocacy groups, nonprofits, professional networks. These are all examples of organizations, teams, people that can have an impact on your project, or if your project is successful or unsuccessful, can be impacted by your work. So why we want to do stakeholder planning and an engagement strategy session is that we can understand these relationships, we can understand the impact that your work has, and we can weight that impact so that when you are taking the valuable time you have in your day and you say, I want to go out and I want to target some conversations, you are focusing that energy on the right groups of people. You have questions that are in alignment with the type of data you need to receive from them, and you're maximizing the effort that you're putting out there. There's only so many hours in the day and only so many relationships that you can manage in a day, so you really want to make sure that you are being intelligent and insightful and thoughtful about how you go out and you have conversations with people, how you build these relationships, and how you gather information. So stakeholder mapping is very impactful. It is a way that you can build rapport with these people. It's a way that you can gather data and insights about people, groups, and organizations that impact your project. It's a way that you can validate what you believe and helps you remove bias from your work. A great example of this is if you are designing a product and you are looking at how this product can exist within the world at large, you might want to reach out to different stakeholder groups that could be considered maybe minority, LGBT, people of color, and test how your messaging, how your thoughts, why you're building this product, how that resonates with these different groups and stakeholders to ensure that as you're designing and as you're building, that your messaging and the way that you're communicating is impactful and resonates with these groups of people. There are so many examples, unfortunately, of great products, great services, and great companies that go out and take their product to market, and then a stakeholder group that they haven't consulted is like, we don't like that. That's actually super offensive to us. An example that just popped into my mind is that horrific Pepsi commercial where Kylie Jenner stopped racism with a can of Pepsi. Probably should have done some stakeholder mapping, asked some questions, validated that that messaging works with different groups of people, you can see how understanding these different groups, the impact that they have on your product and project, is really, really important. And that's why stakeholder mapping is essential. Third, and finally, is this a great way to streamline communication and streamline engagement? We have so many different touch points with stakeholders across social, physical, in person, online. There are so many ways we connect and communicate. Stakeholder mapping is a great and effective way to plan out that engagement, to plan out that communication strategy, to make sure that you and the teams that you are working with are all targeting the right people and targeting them with concise and cohesive messaging, so that you're not saying something and then Bobby Sue from the other department is saying something completely different, and then you have a stakeholder who's confused because you have different messaging yet you come from the same company. Not great. So we're going to go through an exercise that usually takes 2 sessions, 60 minutes each, and you can either do this alone or in person with your people or online with your people. And what's fabulous about this is we are going to brainstorm, we are going to ideate, we are going to refine that ideation and come to a conciseness about who we want to target. And then once we know who from the stakeholder community we want to be talking to, we are going to plan out how we can gather insights, how we can gather data, how we can validate our messaging with these specific stakeholders. And we are going to make sure that the stakeholders you're engaging are the ones that have the maximum impact on your project, that have the maximum value in your engagement time. And when you are done this 2-step workshop, you are going to not only have a plan on how you're going to communicate, but you're going to have a plan on how you're going to gather data, how you're going to gather insights, and how you're going to take your project to the next level. I'm super excited about this. This is one of my favorite workshops, so thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video where I'm going to take you through stakeholder mapping, and we're going to get going. Thank you so much.